Hi, so in this video, what I thought we'd look at is the different machines that the Digitone 2 hold before we progress into the next video. So the Digitone 2 holds 4 machines, so we can simply access these by pressing function and then hitting on the synth page. It gives us an option, 5 different options. 4 of them are the synth engines or the synth machines, and then the other one is MIDI. So MIDI is used for if you're wanting to output MIDI to a different device from the Digitone, so you can utilize the sequencer and things like that. The others are basically just the synthesizers machines within this. So we have 4 of them. We have FM Tone, FM Drum, and Wavetone and Swarmer. So I'm going to start off with the default one, which is FM Tone. So FM tone, here we have the FM tone. So what I'm going to do is just go through each one of these parameters nice and quickly. Starting in the top left, the A, you'll see each one of these encoders are mapped to a parameter on the screen. We have the algorithm. This sets the algorithm of the operators and carriers. You can see them changing on the left hand side. The ratios, these ratios go from 0.25 up to 16. C always works like a carrier. It's limited to integers, so this acts like a sort of base note for the sound. A has more intensive number of ratios, and this allows for more inharmonic relationships, and B1 and B2 controls both operators at the same time. This goes from 0.25 and then it goes up to 16, and then it goes to 0.5 up to 16, and then so forth and so forth. So the top carrier goes from 0.25 up to 16, and then the bottom carrier goes up by 0.25 up to 1, and then it goes all the way up to 16. To quickly reset these parameters, we just hold function and then just turn the encoder back, and that's that. Harmonics, this sets the harmonics of carriers C. If we turn it left, it's a bipolar switch, so being at 0 point, if we turn it left, it controls the harmonics of the C operator, and then if we turn it right, it controls the harmonics of the B operator. Detuning, this detunes offsets the ratio of operator A and B2. The parameter goes all the way to 127. Up to 64, the offset is very slight. This achieves sort of light movement within the sound, and anything above 64, that is when you start to notice it more heavily. Feedback, this sets the amount of self-modulation of the operator that has feedback. The operator is shown on the algorithm screen, so you can see A lighting up there. This sets how much feedback is going back into the A modulator, the A operator itself. And then the mix, we can mix between the left or X and the right Y. We can mix between each two of these just to get a nice balance. On page 2, you will see that we have our algorithm selected. We also have an attack, decay, and end envelope along with the level. So what this does is this sets the level of modulation amount to the selected operator. So you can see B and A in this case lighting up. We can shape this in a way, so if I just go back to the X output, I come down. If I turn up the A, we will hear this. You'll hear that get more metallic, if that's a word. And then same again if I go over to the right, B. You can hear that. But we can shape this over time by using the A, D, and E encoder, which I'll just quickly demonstrate. So we can do things like that. And then we can mix and match these together. We can really start to make some metallic sounds in that. On page 3, we can control various aspects of the FM synthesis. We have different parameters here. So we have A delay, B delay. This corresponds to this up here. So the A delay, this envelope sets the delayed time before the attack phase of the modulation envelope operator A starts. So as you can see here, A delay goes up by 127. We can have A trigger on and off. We have A envelope reset on, reset off. And then we have these different parameters here on phase reset. We do the same with the B delay, B trigger on and off, and B envelope reset. Just going back to the phase reset, what we have here is we have 5 different states that it can be in. So off doesn't reset any operators. All, this resets all operators. C just resets the C operator. A and B plus B2, that resets A and B plus B2. And then A plus B2, this resets operator A and B2. Working down to page 4, this is mainly for ratio offsets. So here we have ratio offsets C, A, B1 and B2. This is where you can offset the ratios by slightly. This can cause sort of phase issues within the waveforms and stuff. So if we go down to -1 all the way to +99, let's just hear it out. Let's just cancel that again. So you can hear it there. It sort of it phase cancels itself out, creating movement within the sound. Next is key track. So key track sets the level of how much of the modulation output from operator A is affected. If you set the key track to 0, the modulation is the same. The higher setting decreases the modulation level the higher you play the keyboard. A lower level of modulation decreases the complexity of the tone in the higher frequencies. This is typical in many acoustic instruments, and this goes same to B1 and B2. So in a nutshell, that is FM tone. So if we wanted to just make something up, just click randomize on that page, randomize on that page, randomize on that page, see what it comes up with. Oof, don't like that. Let's try lower level. That's nice. Moving on to FM drum, all we do to select this is go to FM drum, click on yes, and then come back out of that, go back on this, come back up. It's the same sort of vibe to the FM tone, but this time it's FM drum. This is more specifically tailored to produce drums and other percussive sounds. It works well for melodic sounds too, so you don't have to just do drums with this, you can do all sorts with it. I'm just going to take you through each of the parameters. So starting off on page 1, we have the tune. This sets the pitch of the oscillator. S time, this is the sweep time. This sets the pitch sweep time. Lower values represents slower, this is longer. S depth, this is the depth of the pitch sweep. The algorithm, this selects how the 4 algorithms are structured. Operator C, this selects the waveform of operator C, so you can see they're just changing. Operator AB, this selects the waveform of operators A and B. Feedback, this selects the amount of self-modulation of the operator that has feedback. So you can't really see it on this one because it doesn't really show us. But whatever operator has the feedback, that is what will feedback. And fold, this sets the amount of wave folding of the body part of the sound. The noise and transient level are excluded from it, so this just does wholly on the body level. Next up on page 2, we have ratio. This sets the ratio of operator A. Dec is the decay A. This sets the length of the decay phase of the modulation envelope of operator A. End, this sets the end level of modulation envelope for envelope operator A. And mod, this sets the modulation amount for operator A. And that is exactly the same for operator B. You'll see on the screen you've got A and B, and then this just corresponds to what operator it's for. Page 3, here we have the hold. This sets the body hold time. You can see the note value, and then it just gives it a timed value to what you think sounds right. The decay, body decay, this sets it from really short to infinite. And then the operator C phase, this sets it from 0 to 90 and then 91, which means that it's basically off. So operator C's phase is not reset. The level is the overall level of the body. So we can hear that there. Noise reset on or off, and then noise ring modulation on or off. Page 4, here we have the noise hold level. We have the noise decay, we can set that from really short to infinite. We have the drum transient selector, drum transient level, the bass and width for the noise, and the transient level. If I just turn this down, you can hear that we can remove them low frequencies or high frequencies and choose whatever we want really. So that removes them. It's a filter for our transient and noise levels. The grain adds grain to the noise. So at a 0 value, that's white noise. The more you get, higher up you get, the more gritty it gets. The noise level, overall noise level, is just the overall noise level of the noise. Transient level is the transient level, transient selector, and then shaping them and jigging all them together along with the body level, you can start to come up with some nice sounding drums. Next we have Wavetone. So selecting Wavetone. This Wavetone is a 2 oscillator synth engine. It's very flexible in shaping possibilities, borrowing elements of phase distortion, wavetables, ring modulation, hard syncing, and adding other stuff to it, noise as well to this. We have 2 oscillators. So on the first page we have tuning. So of the first oscillator, you can go to -60 to +60. That's exactly the same for oscillator 2. We can shape the waveform between 0 to 127. These select different waveforms. Phase distortion of oscillator 1. The level of oscillator 1. And then exact same underneath for oscillator 2. On the next page down, we can see the offset. This is a linear offset of oscillator 1, linear offset of oscillator 2, and then we can select between primary and harmonic wavetables. So if we set this one to harmonic and we go back to page 1, we will see that now the waveforms have changed to a more harmonically rich waveform types. So these are the primary, are sort of the classic sort of waveforms. The let's just have a look. So you've got sine wave, you have triangle, you have sawtooth and square, and then everything in between. Back onto page 2, we have the modulation of the oscillator. So the oscillator mod, we can have it off, we can have it ring mod, we can have it ring mod fixed, and we can have it hard synced. So the difference in these here, so in ring mod fixed, oscillator 2 does not track the note values. Another thing to note, that in ring mod mode, which is this one, ring mod mode, oscillator 2 is modulating oscillator 1. So that whatever frequency oscillator 2 is running at, that modulates oscillator 1. In hard sync mode, oscillator 1's phase is reset every time oscillator 2's waveform starts a new cycle. So if you have on this, for example, you have Wavetone 2 having a sine wave and it goes through a cycle, that will reset oscillator 1's phase every time it starts a new cycle. Reset, so this resets the phase reset of the oscillator. This sets how much the oscillator's wave phase resets when you play a tone. Off doesn't reset the oscillator phase. On, it does set the oscillator phase and their waveform. And then random, this resets the oscillators to a random position in the wave phase. Offset 2 is exactly the same as offset 1. Table 2 is exactly the same as table 1. And then drift, this sets the amount of random pitch drift from oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. This gives it more of an analog sort of feel to the sound. Page 3, this is where we can shape our noise level. So if I just come back up here and just turn these both down, turn the noise level up here. So this is good for maybe creating hats, other sort of stuff you can create with this. But here we have an envelope, so we have the attack, and then we have the hold time. You can see the note coming on, so if I press this button down and hold it down, it will play until I release it. Then it goes on to the next phase, which is the decay. So if I just hold this down now, you can hear that because it's a short decay time, it stops instantly. Whereas if I just open this up, it takes a bit longer, or you can have it on 127. But that is also brought into the amp page, so I need to put that up for it to take this effect. So you can hear what that's doing there. Noise level, that is just the noise level of the noise. And then this takes away the bass frequencies, the width frequencies. It becomes more like a bandpass sort of filter. You can really hone in on the type of frequencies that you want to come into your mix. The grain or noise type, we have 3 different types. We have grain noise, we have tune noise, and then we have sample and hold noise. So grain goes from white noise to very grainy. You can get some nice vinyl effects in there. Tuned, this sets the bass tuning of the sample and hold that is being tracked by pitch. And then sample and hold, this is fixed tuning for sample and hold. Last up is Swarmer. So on Swarmer, this is taken from the Syntact. This is in polyphonic mode now because we're in Digitone. As in the Syntact, it's just monophonic, so you can just play one note at a time. It's just got one page. So in this, we have tuning. This offsets the incoming note value to whatever it is. So if I'm playing a C here and I take it down one semitone, it'll obviously be playing a B. That just offsets the incoming tone. Swarm, this sets the waveform of the G-tune swarm oscillators. Detune, this is the swarm detune. The mix is the swarm mix level. The M oct, or the main octave, this goes from 0 down to -2. You've got your main, this is your main waveform selector. Your swarm animation, this animates the swarm oscillators. It modulates it separately in pairs by hidden LFOs within the actual Digitone itself. This happens at different rates the higher you turn it up. And then we have noise modulation. So this sets the amount of noise modulation of the detuned swarm oscillators. So let's just have a listen. So that is a look at the machines. I've tried to make this as quick as possible, along with getting as much information as I can. I've used the manual for this on certain parts, but I would advise just having a look at the manual if there's something that you didn't understand fully, and then just play about with it, just to have a see what you can do next. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Next video, we will look at the filters, the different types of filters that we've got. So this is the multi-mode, the low pass, high pass, the comb plus, the equalizer. We'll look at all them in the next video, and then perhaps the amp page as well, along with the FX page as well, just to show you what this machine can do and bring into your productions. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. But yeah, I hope to see you in the next one. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget that I have created a ultimate guide for this device. It's on the website. I'll throw it up on the page now as a link. All that does is just support myself. It supports the channel, and it helps me just keep doing these videos. The money that I take from it just goes straight back into this, so it helps a lot with the website costs and whatnot. But that's just there if you want. There's a free 10-page booklet. It comes from the main booklet, but you can just do that. There's Patreon as well if you want to subscribe to that. You can get my sample packs that are on the website if you want to sign up for that. And then, yeah. So I'll leave it at that for now, and I will see you in the next video.